Okay, there we go. Hey, everybody. Sorry about that. I still told you guys I'm working with StreamYard and it's different. So we'll see how it goes. Just remember to like and subscribe, please. Thank you so very much. All the information that we get from here is from Green parties around the U.S., and we talk about different things with the Green Party, such as the bylaws, platforms, uh, pillars, and values, and candidates. And speaking of candidates, today we will actually be interviewing our first candidate since we started on StreamYard on YouTube. So we have interviewed before. We started out doing interviews when I was over on TikTok, TikTok, TikTok. And with the changes that they were doing with TikTok, I kind of slowed down on that a bit and slowed down on a few things just so we could see what was going to go on with TikTok. And YouTube actually doesn't have the filter as much. You know, you don't have to say boom boom and all those other things, and it's more um, free here. So not in terms of cost, I should say, but it is it's free in speech. I'm not going to say all speech is free. So we will be reviewing the candidate. I have sent the link. I did so late today. However, the candidate will be coming in and we're going to have a good interview today. And like I said, this will be the first interview since we've entered on our new platform. So I'm excited. Yay. Just to talk about a few of the things that we have going on, we have had several of our state conventions. I do know about the one in North Carolina. We've had Michigan, we have Illinois. I do believe some are still coming up from what I've seen on the North Carolina, the Green Party, gp.org website. And with that being said, that means a slate of candidates will be going to be on the ballot. Some of those states are in the ballot access stage where they are collecting signatures, and our guest is here. Yay, our guest is coming up. So some of those states are in the ballot access phase where they are trying to collect signatures. So if you are in one of those states, please reach out to those Green parties so that you can help in that process of getting them on the ballot. Some of them do have harsh processes with very limited timelines. So it is very important that we help where we can. And to that, I am going to bring up our first guest on this platform, Mr. Brian McGinnis, who is running for U.S. Senate. I love it. You're muted there, Brian.
Hi, Clea. How you doing?
Hi, Brian. I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, good. Doing good. Just hanging out on this rainy day.
Oh, yeah. It's cold, too, and windy.
Yep.
Yeah. So I have let our audience know that you are running for U.S. Senate here in North Carolina. Tell us about what made you want to run. Introduce yourself a little bit.
All right. Well, I'm running to really just make a change in our government. I think it's just getting out of hand. If not, everybody would, it's just getting so out of hand with the international affairs. My wife is Palestinian, and I saw how our government became so complicit in this genocide by selling Israel and supporting Israel and running clearance for them on the United Nations, allowing just a genocide full of murder and killing of innocent people. Collective punishment is what was done to all the Palestinians in Gaza. And our government wants to act like October 7th was the beginning of it all. And when the Palestinians have been mistreated well beyond before that. So that was the eye opener for me to feel the pain of injustice. And that injustice for the Gazans has opened my eyes up to the injustices for all other minorities. And it's just heartbreaking. And as a 44-year-old white male, I've just lived a life oblivious to this. I've been aware of racial inequalities, and I've never agreed with them and thought they were right. But I had a hands up uh, per, uh, perspective of what can I do about it. Well, when the Gaza situation happened, it was militarily handled. I was in the military myself, and I participated in the occupation of Iraq. Uh, the what happened in Iraq was devastating to those people. It destroyed their country, and I had a hand in it. And all of this just is coming together to making me want to do something to change the trajectory of my life and its effects. And I wanted to try to get it activated in some way that I could cause change in a positive way. And finding the Green Party and aligning with what the Green Party is all about, which is, the people first, peace, planet, over profit, is just kind of how I felt fallen myself into the situation that we're in today. And so yeah, and I'm so thankful for it because I'm meeting people like you, Kalia. Warm-hearted, wonderful people who want to have the right perspective, I think, and we share the same ideas that we want to bring positivity to humanity.
Absolutely. And, I think a lot of people out there would be understanding to hear you say you did take a part in Iraq as a part of the military. However, you are trying to, I won't say make up for it, but you are trying to do what you can do to now make things better in a different way. And sometimes that does mean through getting in political theater. So I'm a lot of people, we've had a lot of veterans basically coming out in supporting the Green Party or becoming Green Party candidates. And it does give people a good idea of why they're doing so. And you have a personal tie as well, since your wife is Palestinian. That is something that not a lot of people will have. They have two different sides of the story. You've been over here in the military, and this is her place of living. So this is her home. So you have it on both sides, and I can understand how you would want to do whatever you can to make this better, not just for your sake, but for her sake as well, because I'm pretty sure she has family and everything like that, which means you have family over there.
That's right, exactly. She definitely has family over there, and when you know someone and you can just read them and feel their vibe, it just really just permeates yourself so much more. And I wish I could somehow translate that to every single person out there in regards to this Gaza situation. And and so that effect, that feeling is just, it's helped my soul heal, because after my Iraq military experience, I didn't really, I had a lot of hard things to answer for, and I didn't have the answer for it. I didn't know what we had done, why it was all, what it was, the meaning of it all was. And there was these vague answers of, there was weapons of mass destruction, we were just fighting it in Iraq so it doesn't come to America, defending our country, where I think those have all been proven to not be true. And what the more true statement is, it's just, um, it benefits the weapons systems companies, big governments that invest in these companies, that you know, and so to think that investment shareholders' opinions and livelihoods, or you know wealth portfolios, are more important than the many people that are getting killed and are being brought through so much suffering, and having their infrastructures and their countries and their homes just erased and taken away without any accountability, um, is just wrong. And so I, I know, yeah, my wife is help. My relationship with her, my love for her, is what fuels this. And I think everybody can understand that, right? We all have family. We care about them. We would do anything for them. So that's why I'm here, and just the poor reasons that we go to war, which are not for self-defense
Right.
or peace, is just that's a lie, and I want to do all I can to expose that.
Right. Absolutely. That's understandable. So, why the Green Party? Because a lot of people say, you have to go with the two major parties, Democrats or Republicans, but you chose the Green Party. Can you explain that?
I like the Green Party because I've lost hope in both the Republican and Democratic Party. They both are so tied into our world today, where big money companies are the power wielders. They hold the keys to true policy change. They're gonna just steer policy in ways that's gonna benefit their investment shareholders and keep raising their investments. And that's not a direct uh, line towards solutions which could help Americans with their daily problems. There are struggle at the store register, struggle paying our utility bills, struggle buying homes. Everything is becoming unaffordable, and it doesn't seem to be a priority to policymakers or government officials. They might act like it is, but as strong and powerful as our government is, you think they could create a solution, but they want to continue the problems. So that gives them investment opportunities. That gives them a way to develop strategies to profit off of our suffering, and that's just abhorrent and horrible. And the Green Party is a party that doesn't accept corporate money. We're of the people, and if we were elected, we would simply pursue solutions to help make things more affordable, whether that's housing and utilities or groceries. Or we would vote against war because that hurts people. We would vote against big companies who don't put any efforts or money towards um, saving our planet, or trying to you know lessen the harm that our large that our large institutions or organizations do. So that's why I like the Green Party, and that's why I feel like we have to establish a third party, and the Green Party has been around for a while. I agree with the people that are part of it. I agree with the the ideas of just wanting to treat wanting to serve the people, not big corporate funders. They have enough money.
Right. Absolutely. And that's something that people are still starting to realize, that a party that is run and funded by corporations and other places, they don't benefit the people who actually vote for them. So that is something that we all have to contend with, and letting people know that we are people powered, and we have to get out there. So tell us, what is a what is your website, first of all, so I can go ahead and put it in the link. Well,
All
in the
right,
chat.
it's Brian McGinnis for USSenateNC.org, and so the numeral 4. So Brian McGinnis for USSenateNC.org. It's a mouthful, but it's the best we can do.
All right. So it is Brian McGinnis for US Senate NC.org. And that is the number 4. Brian McGinnis for US Senate NC. Let me sorry. Brian McGinnis for US Senate NC.org. Haha.
That's right. That's it.
So I
Yes,
put
Leah.
that in the chat there, so anybody can click on that and take a look. I know that You might want to have things like everybody wants donations, everybody needs volunteers. So, what is it about your campaign that you are hoping to get out of the donations and the volunteers?
I would like to have just more people interaction opportunities. I like to have some luncheons and some meet and greets here, maybe March or April, just to try to get more, you know, meeting people on the ground at their, and then also just get some small, advertising, uh, campaign advertising going, whether it's just some cards to hand out, make some trips to, um, you know, regional events, and just trying to just kind of get my name out there and our message out there as much as we can this campaign season, just to bring awareness of legitimacy and that there's more parties out there, that the Green Party's out there. There's another option other than just the duopoly of Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah. So your name, since we did the convention the other day, your name did get put on the slate of candidates to go to the Board of Election, and you will be on the ballot in November. So being on that ballot, how does that make you feel?
It makes me honored. Uh, I know this is no small task or no small position. At the same time, I think it's somewhat hyped up more in 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 the eyes of many because they don't want the normal person to step up in our democracy and speak up for change. They want people who are vetted within the wealthy community that know how to toe the line and do the right things for big companies. And if they were to have someone who is uh, a free from all those uh, connections or restrictions of having to do what they're told, then that would hurt their profit margin and their investors, and that's what they don't want. So I know the Green Party's had a lot of obstacles in just achieving ballot status.
Mhm.
So so um so I know that's evidence to how corporate money wants to push out the little guys. And so I wanted to step up, and I'm so honored to be on the ballot this year. And I'm really find it uh, important to just represent the normal person. I think a lot of people are sick of the two party system, and I think this year, hopefully, if I can make myself expose myself to enough people, people could be, could respond well and want to vote for a third party.
Yes, absolutely, because you are going up against quite the challenger. Um, you are going up against the former governor of North Carolina, Roy Cooper. Now, Roy Cooper and you both will be on every ballot in North Carolina. And Roy Cooper has been on every ballot in North Carolina before. So, what is your strategy to put yourself in that position to say, Roy Cooper is an option, but he's not the best choice. Vote for me on the ballot.
You know, uh, Roy Cooper, I believe, is just a really friendly face and a nice gentleman. Um, no hard feelings towards him. I just think, you know, I'm the average. I'm just the common man, and I just hope that can resonate um, with normal North Carolinians and understand that I understand your perspective and your life, and I don't think Roy Cooper is very in tune with that, being that he's a lifelong politician, and been living the life of a politician for years and years. It's not his fault, but he can't recognize normal life or see the same issues the same way as um, average citizens do. So I'm relying heavily on my common man status and hoping that will resonate with people, and they will see that I will speak up for them because I know how they see things and how they feel and what their life is like.
Absolutely. And Cooper is out of touch with a lot of people. And a lot of people still, I don't know why that's happening. A lot of people still vote for him. So that is something that we contend with a lot. Um, I'm trying to see what's with my mic. It sounds like it's choppy, but I'm sorry. Let me keep going. So Roy Cooper, he's not lost on a ballot since he started, but he's not the best, in my opinion, either. He will not stand up for Palestine. He will not stop sending money to Israel. He will do anything that the people need. What are your thoughts on that?
I I think a large issue is all the money we spend to Israel. We spent 430. We sent $432 million as North Carolina has. North Carolina sent $432 million to Israel since October 7th, 2023. That money could do so much for us in our state. So that alone, stopping that, it would be such a huge benefit to North Carolina. Israel has so many spokespeople. One of them is Ben Shapiro, and he just recently said that Israel doesn't need America's money. Okay, well, if that's the case, why have you and all their lobby groups uh, worked so hard to ensure that America sends them billions of dollars annually, and it's in the contract until like 2028? And then it will, and that's the minimum. The minimum is like 3.9 billion we send to Israel. We have sent so much more of that since this genocide they've established, been able to take on the Palestinians in Gaza. So if we could just cut them off and say, all right, you don't need it, then we will take it. Israelis have free Medicare, subsidized housing, um, uh, money per child. They have so much money and so much benefit, and they have such a smaller population than us that it's just absurd that we send them so much of our money. And when we have the people still suffering from the hurricane uh, out in western North Carolina, and there's just so many places where we can spend our money much better. And so that's a huge task. That's a huge move we could do simply right there and benefit ourselves a whole lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, it's a lot of people are saying America first, and we have to work on that. And one of those things is bringing that money back to America because we're in debt as it is. So basically, we are loaning out money, well, giving out money that we don't even have. So when it comes to the budget being in the Senate, how would you vote for things like that?
How would I vote for the budget? I would vote against sending money to Israel, for sure, and I would do all I could to bring other constituents to that conclusion as well. Um, Someone that comes to mind who was doing that was Marjorie Taylor Greene. She really started speaking up against the uh, the irrationality of sending so much money to a foreign nation when we have so many domestic issues that need attention here. So I would definitely, I would just champion that unapologetically, and that's needed because in our Congress, everyone accepts money from APAC, and that's the Israeli lobby group. And when they accept that money, they have to, do what the Israeli lobby group wants them to do, and that's send money to Israel. So I would be free of that as a Green Party representative.
If you were to get on a debate stage with Roy Cooper, would you ask if he would be willing not to take APAC money and not spend any more money in Israel?
Yeah, I would love to ask him if he could, what his stance is there and why he feels funding Israel, if he, why he would, why he would send money to Israel, and then I'd ask him if he could defend that, and if and explain that I wouldn't, and if he I would just question him on the reasoning why he thinks that's a good idea and why it's necessary when people in North Carolina are suffering and he's in charge of, he represents people in North Carolina. Why would he make actions to represent people in a foreign nation?
Right, because I know a lot of states themselves actually send money to Israel, which I don't find there's a reason for a single state to send any money to Israel. If the federal government wants to send money to another country, that's the federal government, because we do have a lot of programs in a lot of different countries. But for a state to do so, it doesn't seem right. So I just wanted to say that I'm always talking about Roy Cooper because we know he's going to be on the ballot. If you're not in North Carolina, you wouldn't know. The primaries are still happening right now. So since the primaries are still happening, we don't know who the challenger is going to be on the Republican side. But we do know that you'll be there on the Green Party ballot. And there might be a libertarian, but we don't know that yet until the primaries are open. So at this juncture, we're just trying to feel out what's going to happen further on down the line. But we would love to see your debates. Maybe we should even reach out after the primaries to see, hey, when is the first debate that we can hold and get you guys together? How would you feel about that?
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
How would you feel about after the primaries if we reached out to the candidates to go ahead and set up a debate? You guys could do that.
I would love that. I would love that. I think it'd be great for everybody to see the difference between responses uh, between all the candidates, and that's just the easy. That's a no nonsense way of seeing um, your options for your senators in North Carolina. And so I would love for that opportunity. It would be an honor to speak uh, at that stage, and I would do my best to represent um, the Green Party and and North Carolinians' best interests um, to for our better future and for our kids' better future, and and for a peaceful future. I would. You asked me how I would vote on certain things. I would definitely vote against war, and I think it's absurd that Trump is trying to take us into a war, bypassing the congressional uh, party or the congressional body, and asking it for their permission. And I just think, like I said before, it's just everything is out of hand, and the government is just uh, going full steam ahead with choices that I think a lot of Americans don't agree with, and I don't understand why that's happening or how that's happening, and I would not I would be against that if I were voted in.
Okay. So what is next on your campaign agenda?
We're looking to just get more exposure. I'm new to politics, so I'm just trying to get myself going and getting exposure to people and trying to meet people and get my word out and send my messages of what I represent, which is, other than the Palestinian issues, more domestic issues. I care about education. Our education is being so uh, neglected that we need to, the Trump took federal funding away from North Carolina, and I want to bring that back. Uh, our teachers deserve higher pay. They give so much of themselves. They give so much of themselves every day to these children, and they spend so much extra money themselves for their classroom. They deserve higher wages, and their wages have been neglected for so many election cycles. They should be the champions of this election cycle, and they should be the ones that are front and center with receiving better pay and more in the school system being more funding, because how can we not all agree that our future relies on it, and our children are worth it, and and so that's a big topic that I care a lot about is education, and and I think another way of simply injecting some economic stimulation in North Carolina is to subsidize solar farming for farmers who have land they're not farming with, and to direct to government money into connecting these large solar farms to our grid, because we're going to need power for more of the growing state. We are we have more and more people coming to our state. We're going to need more power to energize these new people, and so bringing solar farms to impoverished areas through is a great way of injecting funds and economic gain throughout our states, along with strengthening our grid. So those are some domestic issues I would champion as your senator.
Yes, those are all very, very important. Um, Speaking of, what do you think about the AI data centers that have been trying to pop up around North Carolina and in general?
I think the data centers are purely a benefit to corporate America. They are they can help these large companies collect and keep data that makes their life easier. Where I think they have enough benefits. They don't need extra money or extra help with the data centers. Let alone these data centers are an environmental nightmare. They not only take up large swaths of land to be built on, they also require a lot of water to keep them cooled. And that water isn't just used to cool them passively. It gets it gets polluted with PFAS, which these are these forever chemicals, and so it's going to pollute our water systems. It's going to take up lots of land, and it's not going to create a lot of jobs. They call these data centers campuses, but they're not. They're just large buildings full of computer hardware that are going to do these processes, which take an extreme amount of energy and electricity, and they don't require a lot of people to work them. There's maybe a few people to monitor them, but they're pretty self-run. And so these to think that they're trying to subsidize the building of these places, um, when they really just destroy our planet and don't really create a lot of jobs is ridiculous. The companies who want these things that need them, they need to fit the bill. They need to buy them. They it's not that is not something the North Carolinian taxpayer should be paying for. North Carolinian taxpayers, I think, are down to pay for increased education, for programs that are helping us, and they want to pay into systems that are going to help North Carolinians, but the data centers are not going to do that. And I really hope that a lot of North Carolinians are aware of these treacherous truths about data centers, and that they're trying to make taxpayers pay for it when they're just going to benefit large corporate companies who already have made who already make enough money and who have already edged out the small market people like back in COVID. Um, these are big moves that help large corporations, which have enough help already. We need North Carolina tax dollars to to help the little people and help the regular people and the people who make North Carolina run. And so that's what we have to stand up for. So yeah, no tax dollars for data centers.
Right. Okay. That, and it's certainly understandable because where I'm at here in Sanford, we have a lot of those. So, well, we have been trying to build the AI data center. So, I'm happy to hear that you're not for them, but we wouldn't be the Green Party anyway. Not really. um, but talk about some of the things that you want to get done in Congress, like any bills that you would want to get passed.
All right. So when we had our conference and we made speeches, I spoke about this idea of having the Great American Acknowledgement, which was a reparations plan for the Black community. And I've learned some things about um, reparations, and there's some lineage-based reparations that are co-running person. Michael Dublin is championing in his race for two, District Two, yeah, and so I've learned about that, and so I feel like that is something we could redirect the many funds that are going to Israel and making their life happy. I think in North Carolina there's a large population of Black people whose ancestors were slaves and built this nation and established the infrastructure that America grew from, and have only experienced more oppression and unfair laws and unjust laws that have stolen their hard work from them, and all that they've gained from them has done nothing in the face of injustice against violent hate groups like the Ku Klux Klan, which I think had billboards in Johnston County, not but within the last 10 years. Um, so I like to make a gesture of sorrow and regret as a white man, because that has to be done. You don't just let something like that just dwindle away and forget about it. You can't. When you see young Black children with a noose around their neck, surrounded by white folks at a picnic, that's the kind of thing that the Gaza situation awakened my mind to. For some reason, I had a wall between me and our horrible American history, and it was like it wasn't me. I didn't do it. My ancestors didn't do it, or something like that. And it was so disgusting. I did just try to separate myself from that history. But now that I know people who are being oppressed and killed and murdered. I can see the same thing, even if it was 50 years ago. And that's not even that long ago. And so those things do not disappear. And those things remain in the hearts of Black families. And so I believe that there is some economic repayment that's required to make it, to atone for the wrongs that the Black community has had in our history. And it wouldn't stop there. I know there's other minority groups that have faced uh, injustice in the past. And so I would be willing to look into all those other areas where Asian workers have been, profiled and put in concentration camps during World War II. uh, and now today our Latino population is facing straight up, Gestapo, police, authoritarian uh, violence, just for looking or being who they are. So all these things I think are just detestable, and I would be against all of those things. Uh, I would be against ICE, and I am for some type of good faith gesture to the Black community who has done so much for America, yet keeps getting forgotten or pushed aside, um, in our today's issue. Like just in the policies of today, they're not given the respect that that they deserve.
Right. Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. Also with the indigenous community and things like that, land back. Um, so what are four of your top priorities in Congress?
What was that?
What are four of your top priorities if you get to Congress?
Four top priorities: cutting funding to Israel from North Carolina, um, raising teacher pay and funding for North Carolina education, um, abolishing ICE and keeping ICE out of North Carolina, and um, bringing reparations plans to minority groups who have experienced economic oppression and not lawful, unlawful oppression throughout our history, and for North Carolina to lead the way in an effort to atone for these injustices in our short history, and try to bring everybody to the table, to feel equal and to feel represented, and have a voice in our government, in our society.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love that. People will absolutely resonate with that, especially North Carolinians here. Um, so, how do you think your family's going to feel if you win and have to go to Washington?
If I How would my family feel if I won?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that would be a trip. I don't even know how that would work. I would leave the fire department and go serve. What is it? 6 years, Khalid,
Mm-hmm.
and
6 years.
go serve the public in that office, and do all I can to learn how to best serve the public, and carry my for carry my uh, aspirations into the Senate Congress halls, and do all I can for the people of North Carolina. And my family would be supportive of it, and we would feel enacted. We feel strong to do what we can, and fulfill our civic duty to the maximum. And I'd feel good about having the Green Party behind me, with their support, and we're all for it, and we're in on this. We're trying to do it, and so we're all for it, man. And this world is going in a bad direction, so we are all 10 toes down for doing anything we can to changing its trajectory, and one that benefits the people, and not the big rich people.
Absolutely. Well, we do have a question in the comments. So, what thoughts? What are your thoughts to improve wages and cost of living in North Carolina?
I think the minimum wage needs to be brought up to a level that makes makes it livable. And I know that $25 is the amount that needs to be the minimum, the basic minimum wage level, for making life more affordable. And so I would fight for that. A 25-year or $25 minimum wage is a an effective wage for North Carolina workers. So if we could pass the policy to bring that up, um, and if that's just going to hurt corporate, uh, that's the payoff, or that's the trade off. Is we're either going to suffer as a people group, and businesses are going to benefit from low costs, and that's going to proliferate us through a commercial way. Um, we maintain the status quo, or do North Carolina businesses concede to a higher minimum wage or better benefits for their workers for a lower profit margin, but for a better uh, lifestyle or better life, quality of life for North Carolinian workers? And
Mhm.
I would hope that they could see that there are benefits for when you take care of your workers that are going to, you know, um, still help their business in more ways than and and, and, and what's the word? Just creating a better environment for their workers is going to help them. Maybe not right away with their bottom lines, but it's going to sow good faith in their workers and establish a loyalty amongst their people, and create a better environment for all. And that would drive more people to want to come live in North Carolina and work in North Carolina. We the invest the ball and chain to the investors is just tying us down and making everybody suffer just for the benefit of the elites. And that's we have to collectively group together to fight against that if we want to have our voices heard. And I would love to champion that voice.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, um, since my mic is not working and you might be a little under the weather, I want to go ahead and try to wrap up a little earlier. But I wanted to give you time to talk to the constituents and and give a spiel about why they should vote for you.
Tell you why the issues are what.
Why they should vote for you.
All right. Okay. So just please vote for me because I'm I'm not a politician. I'm a public servant. I do not care about my reputation in regards to. I just want to serve the public. I am a normal person that cares about the common man. I don't. I think the rich business folks have a delusional idea of what life is like for the majority of people. I take pride in being one of the many. I find strength with being a part of the community. I care about my fellow person and their family. I have 4 children that I want to do well in school. I want them to grow up and be happy and healthy. I care about those things that most North Carolinians care about. I don't care about having a super nice car. I don't want to have an abundance of wealth. I want to have children who are healthy and happy, and I want them to go to a school where other children are healthy and happy, and I want to go to family events where other families are healthy and happy, and I want us to all work and respect each other, whether we have different religions or different um, ideas about life or ethnic backgrounds. I think we all can learn. I want to go to where we can. I want to be in a community where we all respect each other and learn from each other. And those are the things I care about. And one of the issue I talk about is like subsidized childcare. I know a lot of people work just to pay the daycare specialists. And I know the daycare people are worthy of their money, but it's hard to pay for just to go to work just to pay childcare. That's another issue I'd care about. But yeah, I'm just a common person that cares about and sees things from the ground up, and I want to be a champion for the common man and woman, and I just want to speak for them. And I'm not I'm able to admit when I'm wrong. I'm not the smartest guy, but I know I can find the smartest voice and take that advice and work together for bettering our community. And I really believe I can do that. And my heart's in the right spot. And so that's all I can offer.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. Sorry for all the technical difficulties. I do hope you feel better, feel so much better. You can hang on for a second. And for everybody else, thank you for tuning in, asking questions. We will see you all next week. Yeah.
Thanks, Kalia.
You're so very welcome.
Bye-bye.